Today we're going to do something kind of fun. A lot of you probably didn't know this, but here at Peak Outdoors, we also run an RV repair business. So a lot of the things that we learned through working on these RVs are incorporated into our camp. So today I just wanted to do a little comparison of an average travel trailer to a camp, and we'll go through some of the common things that I find when working on these RVs, things that tend to fail, as well as some things that are built rather well. So anyways, we'll go ahead and go through and I'll show you some things that I've learned throughout the years. One of the most common things that we run across is the use of the rubber roof in the RV industry. Now anything that come after about mid-90s all went to a rubber roof. So you'd be hard-pressed to find anything without the rubber. But the problem with it is the sun. Well, you know how the sun is on things. I mean, it just tears things up. But you can see it's just a terrible product. I mean, they say if it's cared for the way that it's intended, that it can hold up. But you know, I don't know anyone that gets up on their trailer a couple times a year and conditions it and can put it in storage to where it's out of the elements. But this roof is completely shot. It's basically a two-layer system to where you've got a white layer and then a black layer. Well, once you start to see that gray show through, starts to turn black, the rubber becomes porous and it allows water to leak through. And once you have water damage, it's pretty much game over. But the average cost for me to do a rubber roof on a trailer, you'll range anywhere from about $5,000 to about $8,000. And so it's not cost effective. This is a 2007 trailer. So as you can see, I mean, you don't get a lot of life out of the rubber roof. But this one, I mean, this trailer next to us is the same setup, and so is the next one. It's a really common theme. I see anywhere from about 10 years. 8 to 10 years is the lifespan. I mean, it all depends on how it's cared for. But that's a common thing that I see that I mean, I'm not a fan of the rubber roof due to the fact that it just doesn't hold up. Just to give you an idea of what happens when that rubber roof becomes porous, and a lot of this comes, I mean, unless you're frequently up on your trailer, chances are by the time it happens, it's too late kind of thing. But once it becomes porous, that water will get into it, and you can see all of this is all dry rotted. And so it's a matter of going in, pulling this roof off, putting new sheeting down, replacing any other water damage. And a lot of times, if it's to this extent, it's traveled down the walls, your corners. But I see on most trailers, this is where it starts, where your front panel meets that rubber. So if you have a trailer already, I would just say, you know, every year I would get up and make sure it's sealed as best you can. This particular roof, you can see that they've coated it. Now, they make coatings for them, and in my experience, it helps you get maybe a year, and then you recoat it. So if you're fine with recoating it every year, you can make them last. But you can see pretty rough shape on this trailer. So this is a camp that we built right around the same time frame as what that other trailer that I just showed you with the rubber roof issues. So we built this camp back when we were at Timberline, but we'll go ahead and I'll show you the roof on it, how it's held up, and we'll just kind of take a look at it. As you can see, perfect shape. We do them a little bit different now. This one's just got a short middle seam. Now we do them a full width so that it puts that seam off of the edge of your arch so you don't have any water pooling on it. But even with this design, you can see that there's no water damage, nothing wrong with the aluminum. And so it's held up really, really well. And like I say, these are all things that we've learned through working on you know, the travel trailers and things that we've incorporated to make our product a better product. Now, I'm guessing a lot of you are familiar with the cabinetry in most of your trailers. Now, this would be a higher end trailer. Very nice setup as you look at it. Cosmetically, it's beautiful. But as we look closer, you'll notice, I mean, everything's really cheap, really lightweight kind of thing. In fact, this one, we just had to put a kick plate on the bottom of the door because they were walking by and kicked a hole through the door. But a lot of this is just due to the fact that they're trying to keep the weight of the trailers down to where they pull good. You can see this one, the 1/4 inch is kind of pulling away. But they're just really light duty, lightweight. Your drawers in all of them. I mean, you get to where you're going and your drawers are usually falling out. But I'll show you kind of the cabinetry in our camps, what we've done to make them hold up better, and still keep the same appeal. We'll just take a look at the cabinetry in this camp to kind of give you an idea. So all of this is 3/4 inch hardwood. This is actually a knotty alder material that they used in this particular camp. Solid doors, solid face frames, same thing, 3/4 inch face frames, made out of all hardwood. So all of your hinges and everything are all in solid wood, so you don't have to worry about them backing out or if you put pressure on them. All soft close hinges. But this just makes it nice. Like I say, holds up a lot better. All the material we use is 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch. We're not interested in using any of that 1/8 inch stuff. We just want something that's gonna hold up good. Even our bathroom door. This is a solid 1.5 inch, 3 inch bathroom door. It's solid, it's heavy duty, it has continuous hinge, the length of the camp to support it. Just all around better as far as reliability and dependability. Another thing that we frequently see is, and this is going to happen to everyone eventually, you're going to have a blowout. Now, when these particular trailers blow out, a lot of times all they have is just this plastic or this almost a tarp fabric that protects it. And I've seen trailers where it's ripped the whole side skirt off, it's pulled out plumbing inside, pulled out cabinets. I mean, it makes a world of damage when you have a blowout on these. And so, I mean, a lot of times when I go to replace them, I'll do a metal backer to help prevent it in the future. But yeah, just, I mean, not well thought out in a lot of these things, and a lot of it's just to save money. This is a camp that we're just finishing up. We still got to put the angle iron and everything around it. But I'll just show you kind of what our Wheelwell setup is. This is all solid metal, 1/8 inch thick. It's actually 3/16 thick that goes around that wheel. So if you do have a blowout, it's just a matter of changing the tire and being done with it, which is nice. A lot of it too, this is our spare tire hanger. Keeps your tire up out of the elements so that, you know, it's not sun rotted. When you do finally blow a tire, you've got a good spare. It's not one that's hanging off the back and been sitting in the sun for 15 years or whatever. But it just makes it for a nicer camp, especially when you're traveling, you know, and you have a problem like that. The last thing you want to do is have a trailer that's all tore up and that needs repair. Another thing that we commonly address here at Peak Outdoors is the furnace. People hate the forced air furnace in their trailers. A lot of it is because that it uses a lot of propane, drains their batteries down, and they never get warm. Well, to tell you the truth, what they recommend is a 1000 BTU furnace for every foot of trailer. So for example, this is a 28-foot trailer. That's from bumper to tongue, so you're actually a little bit smaller than that as far as living space. This particular furnace is a 30,000 BTU furnace. So the furnace is actually overkill for the size of trailer. And a lot of reasons that they do that is to try and please the customer. Well, in doing so, I mean, this furnace is well built. It's a great product. But when you put a furnace in a cardboard box and expect it to hold a temperature, of course it's going to cycle a lot. It's going to run. It's going to bring that up to temperature, and as soon as it does, that cardboard box is already cooling down. And so it works its guts off to try and keep that at a consistent temperature. Like this trailer, it's got the Arctic package, and basically what that means is they skirt the bottom, they enclose the tanks, they insulate the tanks, but for the most part, none of them put any heat into there. And so all that insulation does is trap cold air. Insulation works great if there's heat present, that it can retain that temperature. But my experience, most of these, they don't have any heat present there, and so it holds that cold air in, and so you've got cold air there against your floor, which just makes it that much harder for that furnace to keep up with it. In all reality, the Arctic package to me means it's going to cost you twice as much when I have to fix it, just because I've got to tear through a lot more stuff. But anyways, I'll show you some things that we've done to help this furnace perform as well as it can, to where it doesn't use a lot of propane, where it doesn't use a lot of power, where it cycles, you know, at the minimum. And so anyways, we'll go and show you some things that we've done in our product to help accommodate the furnace. As far as the furnace goes, I think you've seen some videos probably of previous camps that we've done. But you can see the thickness of our ceiling. You're about 6.5 inches thick. That's all insulated with R19. The floor is the same, 6 inches thick, R19 with a 3/4 inch AC on the top and a 1/2 inch AC on the bottom. And then insulated all in between. And then our ductwork runs in the floor to circulate the heat. We have ducts in the back, here in the front, in the bathroom, to just equalize that heat out really good. And then our walls, I don't have a window out, but anyways, our walls are extremely thick in comparison to your travel trailers. Like this one, for example, you've got a 1/2 inch maple core with a laminate finish on the interior, and then it's got a framework similar to your house on 2-foot centers, with the remaining dead space insulated with a 3/4 inch blue board. And then you have a 1/2 inch sheet on the exterior, your Tyvek moisture barrier, and then your metal, so it retains the heat extremely well. On average, that furnace, I mean, when it's cold, it might kick on 3 or 4 times in a night is all. I mean, very efficient. But like I say, I'm not using a different furnace than they use in the RV industry. Same furnace. It's just, yeah, making it be more efficient by insulating the space that it has to heat to where it doesn't have to work as hard, and just makes for a nicer experience. That pretty well wraps up our walkthrough for today. I wish I could go into a lot more detail, but due to time, I think that gives you a good idea of some of the common things that we see. I mean, there's a lot more than that. There's plumbing, awnings, all this stuff that we see on a daily basis. But that should give you a general idea of the difference between a sheep camp and one of these RVs. But like always, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so and hit that like button.